or black. You can kind of just color over it. I'm going to do the eyes. Those in the inside of these eyes, that's solid black. You do a black and gray shade piece you definitely want to use some solid black in these pieces. If you do the whole thing with just gray, the whole piece will look too soft. It'll look too washed out. You'll have no contrast to anything. You'll see that'll pull the eye color right out. Same thing in the nose piece here too. I'm going to start with this dark. This I'm going to eventually lighten up. You've got that drawing so you can keep looking back to that as a reference. If you're working from your own original piece of work, you probably won't have to, but if it's a piece you've never done before, you're going to want to keep referring to that, to where the dark and lights are in the piece. It's better when you're doing something to kind of use your own artistic ability on this too, then, so you're not just like duplicating every single piece the exact same. You could do the same piece 2 times and it'll look different both times. If you do this center stuff with a little more freehand work, then try to follow it like a coloring book. You're going to get a nicer look when it's done. Parts of these skulls now, I'm going to use a little bit more washed out ink. This is about 3 drips in here. And again, you don't want to take anything all the way to the edge of the outline. Leave a little bit of a gap. It'll have a much nicer look when it's all done. Just going to wipe this off a little bit so you can kind of see where we're going with it. You get a better look. You can see how it's starting to get shaded up in here. I'm going to work on these eyes too, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use one that's got about 3 drips of black ink in it, and you want to start. It kind of looks a little smeary when you start doing it that way. But it gets a nice effect. It'll be a softer look when it's done. Again, don't go to the outline. I stress that a lot because you'll see the difference. If you color it all the way up to the edge, you'll have no contrast to this whole thing. It'll all look like it's one, like you just colored it in like a coloring book, and that's not what you're trying to get. If you start seeing more blood than you do ink, that's okay, because there is some ink in there, and that's going to be the real light shade. So don't overwork them either. You know, once you get it where you think it looks good, you can always go back and darken something up, but you can't lighten it. So it's kind of important not to overwork a piece that you're not sure. If you're not sure you want a dark spot there, then don't make it dark. Make it a little bit lighter. Even when you're done doing this piece, you can take a look at it and you'll see what it's going to look like, and you might go back in and touch up little pieces here and there. That's why it was important when we did the outline to show all those little cracks in there, because it gives you space to fill in. You're not just filling in the thing solid. These cracks give some separation to each different shade. Now you're starting to get some dimension to the piece. You can see how flat it looks here and how it starts to look like it's coming in. Remember in the outline when I showed you that I put that little mark up there, that little, it looks like an upside down U there, because that's going to be a darker indentation in the skull. So that one you can start out with just some solid black, and just this one you want to go right up to that because you don't want to see that outline piece there. But feather it out past it. It'll give it a nice look when it's done. It'll make it, give it a little dent in there. If you notice on this piece, that's the outline stopped about right here, But I'm going to follow that same line and shade up past it, and now it'll make it look like it drops off and goes to the other side, just by following that without having an outline in there. This will almost just create your own outline on the edge. This piece here, we're shading the skull kind of like towards the center. I'm bringing everything in towards this center here. So, and I'm doing this with about 3 drips of ink in there. This is not, the skull piece itself doesn't have too much solid black in it. The solid black is saved for the eyes and the nose pieces here. You want to pull these, when you're doing this, kind of as you're sweeping it out, you don't want to see a lot of little dotted lines when you're doing that. Try to get it so it's kind of a smoother look. Just slowly go out. If you find that you got too much of a dotted line look, go to take the ink that's even washed out even more with maybe just like 2 drips, and just kind of go over it. So and you'll start getting a smoother, it'll start smoothing the line.